So now I'm just going to look at a part of my film which needs to transition from one clip to the next. Here's the previous clip on the left hand side and where it ends, and then this is the beginning of the next clip. So on the timeline I can actually click and drag to just cut a little piece off that, move my playhead back to the end of the last clip. So I'm trying to match his face roughly, and that will just improve the transition from one to the other.
Currently
I think I can trim a little bit off here as well. See if that makes it better. And it will automatically snap to the end of the last part.
Currently I'm studying at...
So that's a little bit better.
Currently...
Now we might want to remove the You can see where he begins speaking there. But I'm also trying to match his mouth. So I'm just going to click and drag to there and see how that goes. So I'm moving the playhead back here.
Currently I'm studying at Coventry New.
Now I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to press Ctrl and Z. And that will help you undo what you've done.
Currently I'm studying at Coventry University.
And that looks okay. Now what's important to do as you're making your rough cut is go to File and Save. And save your HitFilm project. Once I've saved it once, I can press Ctrl and S on the keyboard to save it. Now you can imagine once you've done a lot of work on here, the last thing you want to do is lose it. So it's important to just get into that habit of pressing Ctrl and Save. Here I have two different shot types. So I've got this kind of medium shot, and then I've got a kind of closer shot that I need to cut to. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I just have to wait until the audio wave loads so I can see what's happening with that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And now I can see where he finishes speaking here and where he starts speaking here. Now notice that his mouth starts to move before he actually speaks, so I have to be mindful of that, and I'm just going to trim that part off so that when we cut from this shot to this shot he starts speaking straight away. That will make your film feel a little more natural. So let's see that go through.
In this gallery we have different types of arts presented. We have more traditional landscape.
Okay, so I'm happier with that, but I could actually probably cut a little more off here. So wanting to get to a kind of pause in his conversation. Just trim that down on the timeline.
In this gallery we have different types of arts.
Okay, so I'm much happier with that. Okay, so now I've got a rough cut with all of my clips on the timeline. I've zoomed out so that you can see the whole film. And it's this that I need to edit down now. So I want to improve on this rough cut. He's talking about the artwork that's inspired him in this final clip here. So what I want to do is show the person watching what that looks like. So I'm going to need to add a new track. So right click and add a new track. And I'm going to call mine Cutaway, but you can call it anything so that you know what it is. So I might call it Painting or Photograph. And now I can take this clip, and I'm going to take the whole clip and put it here where he starts talking about it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to his voice as he talks about it.
Life and sculptures, and we have more contemporary photography and optical art as well. So it's always very interesting to observe the...
Now, as you can hear, it's come in with the audio on at the bottom, and I actually just want the video. So what I can do, if I click off it and click on it again, you can see the two tracks that are linked. So audio 2 goes with video 2. I can right click on it and unlink it, click off it, click on the bottom track and delete it. Now I can just hear him speaking.
Optical art as well. So it's always very interesting.
So I know he just spoke about photography and optical art, so I'm going to just clip a little bit off at the beginning. So we'll see him speaking first.
Landscapes and still life and sculptures, and we have more contemporary photography and optical art as well.
Another tool that I've got here on the timeline is this little slice tool. So I can cut a piece out of that clip, and now I can move this separate part. So I might see him again talking.
It's optical.
So now he's talking about optical art. And I know that within this clip there's some camera movement that I want to use. So when I cut to it, I want to see the part where the camera moves down. Which is from about there. So I'm going to cut that there. I'm just dragging it.
Optical. So I think in this gallery the photography pieces are the main aspects of influence for me.
Okay, and I'm going to end my film there. So I'm actually going to just delete that part that I cut earlier. And now I've got the whole film as a rough cut. So when you're trying to improve your film, one of the most important aspects of that is looking at the parts where one clip goes to another and making improvements there. Sometimes as you edit a clip, you may not need to cut away from one piece of footage to another, but you actually just need to clip a little bit of audio from the end. So here, if you listen, you can hear a footstep.
Me.
It's quite quiet, but there's just a little footstep at the end of there, and the audio on that is on this clip. So what I can do is unlink it and just cut that last little bit off. And then what I would say is important to do is relink it, click off it and click and drag to select the two clips and then link it back together. That means that now if I move it, the two items will move together. So it's important to remember when you unlink your audio and your video footage, if you want to move them together afterwards, you need to link them back together. Otherwise you could end up with audio footage in the wrong place that doesn't match your video footage.